Boston Harbor. And they
Remember,
somehow,
the from can't fix it. You're not using it from.
and somebody even suggested that the Champlain people
That is great advice.
on the ship was the first one to see the island. I find that hard to believe. I suspect it's somebody's name, and it used to be Baker's, S, Baker's Island. So it makes you think, okay, it was somebody named Baker who named but now it's
Predator or
Baker's
something.
Island. Right? They've dropped the possibility. What it is, I don't know. Yeah.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Rowing, mooring, back, row ashore.
I'm telling you, Sleepy Hollow.
We would get, I think we would get close. Not a lot.
Big old crow. What is that?
That is not a crow.
Is that a juvenile bald eagle?
That is
That's a juvenile bald eagle. That is absolutely a juvenile bald eagle.
Beautiful.
So dingy. Look at
I see it. It's showing off too.
it. Right.
Wow.
It's kind of
Nice.
Yeah.
See, they didn't get to see that.
There he goes.
There he goes.
Yep. It's a bald eagle. And I
Probably 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah.
You can just see the size of that. 6 foot.
Wow.
Nice.
You're like crow. I'm like, that's no crow.
No, I said that's big.
He's gonna need to get
It was flying wrong before too.
this thing out.
Thank you.
Video.
Yeah.
Hello everybody. This is Tuesday, July 24th, 2018. And Rita and I and Kevin and Renee are walking across Baker Island. Probably one of the most remote places we've ever been. It requires a trip to Bar Harbor on Mount Desert Island and then taking another boat, the Miss Samantha, out of Bar Harbor around the east side of Mount Desert Island and down past the Cranberry Islands down to the little island of Baker Island, which is part of Acadia National Park. We are walking toward a graveyard on the island. And there's Kevin. The boat ride was a little bit more, a little bit rougher than we kind of expected. A lot of wave action going on. I'm going to say we had 5 to 6 foot waves. So anyway, we're here and we're on solid land for a good 2 hours. So hopefully we'll all feel better. This is a small island, only about half a mile in diameter, according to the ranger. And at least we're not being rained on. That little red house up there apparently is privately owned.
Two small areas. The 2 red houses, well, you see one, the other one is kind of behind the tree there. Those are privately owned cottages. I will talk about them briefly. The graveyard is privately owned, as is one spot on the far beach. We call it the South Beach because it's facing south. And I'll tell you about that when we get to that. But the rest of it is now all in the national park, which means, unfortunately, you can't collect things. Like, if you see trash, you're welcome to collect trash, but no rocks or anything like that. Speaking of trash, it's kind of interesting to look around at the big hunks of metal that you see. Has anybody looked at those and figured out what it is? There are 2 things, at least that I know for certain. What do you think? Well, that's a good guess, a boat, but actually I don't think it was a boat. There was a car that you can see the differential right here, and there's probably other parts. And you say, really? Somebody had a car out here, huh? They did, probably for hauling their fishing gear and things like that, but I've seen pictures, and I think it's an old Model T. There was a shipwreck. Between us and Little Cranberry, there's kind of that bar that you could walk across. A lot of ships would run aground there. And so ship ran aground. A guy named Allen, that was his last name, got off. Matilda married him right away. So that's your spouses. You're limited to family members, so you take whatever washes up on shore. That I suspect probably did happen more often than not. But there are still a lot of gillies around. If you check the phone book, you see this Wendell Gilly Museum in Southwest Harbor, and he's a descendant. And somebody told me something interesting. Not sure if it was English or Irish. This was their original, where they came from, probably Irish. And he said Gilly in that language meant shoemaker. And because this guy's name was Gilly Strap, a strap on the shoe. Now whether that had anything to do with their lives here, I don't know. But so they had a large family, and it was growing all the time. I think the latest was 1855. But in 1828, the commerce in this area was really beginning to pick up. And so they needed a lighthouse, and this was one of the very first on this section of the coast. Why would you build it in the center of an island? Does that make sense? That's right. It's the highest point. Most of them are on the shore. This one's in the center. Any guesses who you might hire as the lighthouse keeper? Sure, William Gilly. He lived here on the island. Perfect choice. So they became the lighthouse keeper, and William and Hannah lived in the lighthouse keeper's house, which would be this house here. And again, that has probably been worked on. And some of the sons took over the other houses that they had. So things went well. William was paid $350 a year. Now, that doesn't sound like much today, but for a farmer and a fisherman and a settler, so to speak, who didn't need money, that was a lot of money. So he became pretty well-to-do, and later on, that money that he had saved, he used to buy other land. He'd get his children started in business, so it was something that came in pretty handy.
Back in the day, it's awesome. You could just go to an island and call it yours.
Well, Rita, you can't really get lost in these woods. I mean, you're on an island, right? Look at these little pine cones on the ground. Do you see them? Uh-huh.
Look, that's strange because there's so many trees.
These trees are, probably some of these trees are older than
Yeah.
the time when
Did you not hear him say that though, Did you hear him say that?
I don't think so, no. He said that they called it Mount Desert because there's no trees on the top of the mountains. Not on this island.
This is Baker Island, July 24th, 2018. ride back to Bar Harbor. Bahaba. Bahaba, Maine. Hi, Rita.
Hi, Bill. How's
Make it
my
a movie.
Bill?
All right.
No, my
Did you see the rock? Almost done with the potty.
I feel like the time you make the most is when you're transferring.